Imagine waking up with a melody stuck in your head. You fall in love with it and feel like it could be the next big hit. But how does a simple idea turn into a song that the whole world can hear? Just 14 years ago, producing a single song was more expensive than buying a car. You needed a full studio with massive mixing consoles, loud tube amplifiers that used tons of electricity, endless cables and magnetic tapes that had to be cut by hand. To run all that, you needed multiple engineers, musicians and producers. Recording just one song could easily cost between 10,000 and 100,000 USD, or in Michael Jackson's case, even $250,000 for Billie Jean. Back then, making music was a huge challenge. It took a lot of money and resources. The times have changed. Luckily for people like us. Fast forward to 2015. In a small, simple bedroom, a 13-year-old girl records her first song with her brother, a laptop and an $80 microphone. They upload it to SoundCloud just as a demo for her dance teacher. But then something crazy happens. The song blows up, get millions of streams in no time, and almost overnight they become international superstars.
Yeah, I need to be famous.
Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas now have over 1 billion streams on that song, and over the years they've become some of the biggest artists in the world. Billie's stories proves that you don't need thousands of dollars or industry connections to make music that moves people. All you need is creativity and authenticity. This story inspires me and millions of others around the world to produce their own songs and write their own stories. I don't want to just dream anymore. I finally want to turn my dream into reality and create my own music and make it from the living room to the big stages. And this is my master plan. I've spent the last few months learning how to sing and writing the basics of my very first song on an acoustic guitar. But right now, it's just some melodies and lyrics. So how do I turn this idea into a finished song that people can actually stream on Spotify? I finally want to learn how to produce my own music and make it sound amazing. Back in the day, making music didn't pay the bills for most artists. But with the digital revolution, anyone can now produce their own songs and reach millions of people. At least in theory. Because since anyone can do it, everyone is trying and the competition is huge. My chances? Honestly, not great. Others have been in the game for years, grinding and building their skills, while I'm just starting from almost zero. I can play a few instruments, okay. I only recently learned how to sing. I have no connections to the music industry, no fancy studio and barely any budget. All I have is a vision and a plan. These days you only need 2 things to produce your own music. A computer with a music program and a microphone. Depending on the genre, you might also want a controller like a keyboard or a guitar. Thanks to software instruments, you can now play almost any instrument without actually owning one. In high-end studios, drums, expensive synthesizers and entire orchestras were recorded professionally. And now you just open a program at home and you get the same massive sound for a fraction of the cost. Not only that, but you can also play any instruments even if you never touched the real thing. You don't even need to know music theory. You can use pre-made chord progressions, program drums or just grab a pre-made beat. The possibilities in music production today are insane. Where you once needed full bands and years of practice, now anyone can make music. And that blows my mind. After years of dreaming about music, I'm finally here, sitting in front of a laptop with unlimited possibilities. It's kind of like walking into a supermarket and standing in front of a huge shelf with way too many options. I feel totally overwhelmed. I have no idea where to start. Up until now, I've only ever played music alone on one instrument, maybe singing along sometimes. But I've never played in a band, never produced music, and I have no clue how to build a full song with multiple instruments and vocals. But if I want to take my song to the next level, I have to learn how to produce music. Whenever I wanted to learn a new skill in the past, I've always tried to turn it into a habit as quickly as possible. Just by doing something every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, I've always managed to build a solid skill set in no time. That's exactly what I'm doing here. So every day I start watching at least 50 minutes of YouTube tutorials. How do I probably record an electric guitar? How do I program drums? How does a compressor actually work? Just like singing, music production is a skill you can learn. Within a few weeks, I'm teaching myself the technical basics of music production. Producing a song is kind of like cooking. You look at recipes, basically songs you like, and break down their ingredients. A pop or rock song usually consists of a handful of instruments, each playing a specific role. The drums lay the foundation, setting a tempo and a rhythm. The bass adds depth and glues everything together. Pianos and electric guitars bring energy and dynamics, shaping the the sound of the track. And the vocals, that's the heart of the song. They carry the emotions and main melody. That's the theory, but now I finally want to produce my own song. The first question I ask myself, what do I actually want my song to sound like? Right now I just have a simple acoustic version, but it's nowhere near the sound the song deserves. Basically, the choice of instruments determines the genre and style. I could turn Lost in My Mind into a soft pop ballad, but that wouldn't match the theme and emotion I want to express. So I tried to apply everything I've learned so far. First, I program a simple drum beat. And actually, we don't need an acoustic guitar at all. My first idea, playing the riff on an electric guitar, was way better. I want the song to sound dirty because Losing Your Mind feels exactly like that. I take the chords and melodies I came up with in the last episode and record them on an electric guitar. Like most rock songs, I keep the verses clean and emotional and then hit hard in the chorus with distorted guitars and loud drums to bring out the raw energy. To connect the drums and guitars, every pop or rock song needs a bass to add depth. Finally, I record all my vocals. Wake me up when this shit is over. And after a few hours, my first song is done. I'm lost in my mind. What can I say? It sounds okay, but also kinda generic. Like I just downloaded a bad random stock rock song from the internet. But all the instruments are there. Everything is technically correct, but something's missing. The authenticity, the quality and clarity that professional songs have. The magic is missing. My song lacks of the secret ingredient. I really hope this time would be different. For years I've chased trends, copied successful formats and tried to figure out what people want to see. I put all my hopes into music, thinking this would finally be my breakthrough. That I create something fresh and original. But I'm starting to realize I'm still at the very beginning. Just because I understand the technical basics doesn't mean I actually know how to produce good music. For years I kept putting this off, thinking this dream was too big. And now that I finally found the courage to produce my own music, I could have been working on this all along. Instead, I kept telling myself the same excuses. It's October 2024. I'm so frustrated with my recordings that I delete the entire project. Maybe I'm just not ready yet. Maybe I overestimated myself. It's going to take me years before I can produce anything decent. I don't want music to just be some casual hobby anymore. I don't do 50%. It's all or nothing. I want to create music that moves people, music that competes with the biggest stars and still be heard years from now. This isn't just quick YouTube content anymore. This is supposed to last. So I start researching. I spend hours reading forums, watching equipment reviews, searching for the secret ingredient to professional sounding productions. And finally, I think I found it. So far, I've been working with free plugins, cheap instruments, and a room with zero acoustic treatment. But almost all major artists use way better equipment. I dig deeper. 10 must-have plugins for every music producer.
Presets do the work for you. Radio ready in seconds.
You definitely need at least 1 or 2 Neumann microphones in your studio. Of course, that's it. Why didn't I think of this sooner? I can't expect to sound professional with amateur gear. If I want to compete with the industry best, I have to invest. Screw it. It's time to go all in. First, I get a better microphone. At first I don't hear much of a difference, but after a few listens I do notice the sound is a bit cleaner. And all those little improvements, they add up. So next up, a new audio interface, better plugins, more instruments, higher quality cables, studio grade headphones. Step by step my sound gets a little bit better, just a bit, but the more I listen, the more I notice the details. So I dive even deeper into the forum, soaking up every bit of knowledge from experienced producers, collecting everything I need for a professional setup. Studio monitors for perfect sound, a preamp for cleaner vocals, acoustic treatment for the whole room, and of course tons of plugins, because that's what all the top producers use. I keep going. I keep spending. Almost every pro uses this gear. And if I want that industry standard sound, I need industry standard equipment. So I re-recorded everything with my new setup. And suddenly it sounds...
Please wake me up when I feel sober. I'm lost in my mind. My thirst ready to kill me. You know I'm tired.
barely any better than before. What have I done? I went on a total spending spree and blew all my money on ridiculously expensive gear. I was obsessed with the idea of somehow matching the quality of the stars. I was ready to do whatever it takes. I spent so much money on equipment even though I can barely hear a difference myself. We're talking tiny little details that cost thousands of dollars. How could I be so blind? I'm not a producer or sound engineer. I haven't spent years in a studio mixing songs every day. I can barely hear the difference between a $100 microphone and a $1,500 microphone. All this expensive gear might make the records a little bit better, but not nearly enough to make them good. In the last few weeks, I've spent more money on gear that most people spend on a car. Yet, my song still doesn't sound anywhere near as good as Ocean Eyes by Billie Eilish, which was recorded in a bedroom with an $80 mic. So what do these artists have that I don't? How do they make their music sound magical? The secret ingredient has to be something else. Something money can't buy. I have to admit it. All these investments haven't brought me even one step closer to my dream. If anything, they've just distracted me from what actually matters. Because all the theory, all the technical skills, they barely matter. Maybe they're the first step to actually executing what's in my head. But what makes the big artist music so special isn't technical perfection. It's their creative ideas, their years of experience and their clear artistic vision. And just like that, I'm back at square one. Even if I have tons of creative ideas, I haven't produced hundreds of songs yet. I don't fully know how to translate my emotions into music. It's going to take years of practice before I can even come close to the industry standard. There's no shortcut this time. Maybe I was just being naive, thinking I could match the productions of the biggest stars without years of experience. When I don't know what to do, I do what I always do. I escape into music.
Tried so hard and got so far. In the end, it doesn't even matter. I had too far to lose it all.
But this time, something feels different. I have experience. I have years of experience. No, I've never produced a song before, but without even realizing it, I've been training for this my whole life. Since I was a little kid, I've been obsessed with music because it carried me through the heights and lows of my life. So many times music was my anchor, helping me process my emotions. Every song I've ever listened to, every album I've played on repeat, it's all been teaching me how music works. I know how instruments come together to create a certain mood. I know how artists use their voice to express emotion. I know how small creative choices shape a unique sound. I've memorized my favorite songs inside and out. I can immediately tell which song gives me which feeling. I know what kind of sounds trigger which emotions. It's like in Karate Kid. He keeps putting on and taking off his jacket over and over again, not realizing he's actually learning the right movements. And just like that, all these years of listening to music have trained me, without me even knowing it, to understand what works and what doesn't. It's like a language I've been hearing my whole life, but never spoken myself. I know exactly how a song needs to sound in order to move people. I don't need expensive equipment. I don't need music theory. I don't need tutorials. Everything I need, I already have. That's the secret ingredient. I am the secret ingredient. Instead of copying the formula of typical rock songs, I need to learn how to steal like an artist. No artist creates something from nothing. Take Billie Eilish for example. She took the dark, melancholic sounds of her idol, Lana Del Rey.
This is the reason for half you bitches' existence.
Then she mixed it with minimal beats and deep basses from hip-hop. Then she layered it with experimental soundscapes from indie artists. She took all of her favorite sounds and blended them into something completely new. That's exactly what I have to do. Take the best ingredients from my favorite songs, experiment with them, and combine them into something huge and unique. So I go back and listen to my favorite artists again, this time really paying attention to what makes them special to me. I love Eminem and NF for their insane storytelling. I love Måneskin, MGK and Sum 41 for their high energy rock sound. I love Billie Eilish, Nirvana and 21 Pilots for their contrast and raw emotions. With that in mind, I sit back down at my laptop, but this time with a completely different mindset. I don't just want to make a rock song. I want to create a track that brings together everything I love about music. I have no idea what people want to hear, and honestly, I don't think anyone can predict that. All I can do is make the best possible song for myself, pour as much of my emotions into it as I can, and maybe, just maybe, someone else will feel the same way when they hear it. For weeks, I analyzed my favorite songs, breaking down how these artists use instruments, vocals, and sound design to inject their emotions into the music. And then, finally, it's time to bring all these ideas into my DAW and make them real. I start with the intro. In the streaming area, a lot of pop songs jump straight into the hook to grab attention fast. But to me, that kills the tension. So instead, I build a stripped down version of the main theme, just enough to pull the listener in and spark curiosity. I add ad-libs, background vocals, little details to fill out the space.
I lost my old friends and I tried to cope. Then I lost you and with you my hope. I lost my faith and I lost my home.
I cycle through different guitar sounds, adding reverb to my vocals.
Please wake me up.
Stacked electric guitars, layered vocals, and then, when the chorus hits, I make it explode.
I'm lost in my mind, my thirst ready to kill me. You're not by my side.
I start getting more and more obsessed with the details, recording hundreds of vocal takes until I find the perfect one.
I'm careless, insolent, conflicted, egoistic, jealous.
And finally, it all comes together. The driving guitars, the punchy beat, the raw emotional vocals. It finally sounds the way I always imagined it in my head.
I'm lost in my mind, my thirst ready to kill me. You're not by my side, just silence surrounds me. I'm lost in my mind, my thirst ready to kill me. You're not by my side, just silence surrounds me.
We're almost there, but one thing is still missing. I'm convinced that every song, every piece of art needs at least one twist, something unexpected. A moment that catches you off guard, something that takes the whole story to its epic conclusion. The first acoustic demo of the song just ends on a single word, but that's not what the song and the story deserve. And then, out of nowhere, I get the idea. Instead of just copying the usual structure of a rock song, I decide to steal a final element from a completely different genre, something that has nothing to do with rock. Artists like Billie Eilish often stack multiple layers of their voice to create an entire choir by themselves. And that's exactly what inspires me. So for the grand finale of my song, I built a massive choir made up entirely of my own voice to bring the story to its epic climax.
You make me go crazy, please stop it, baby. Baby, you make me go crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, yeah. La 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 la. These voices in my head get louder and louder. I may give up before I found her. I'm lost in these moments, I question too much. 'Cause all I really need is a little bit of my life is fucked up. My life is fucked up.
It feels like a rush. I keep playing the song over and over, blasting the speakers at full volume. This is it. After months of preparation, after all the doubts and setbacks, I did it. I created a song that brings together everything I love about music. A song that has the same magic and personality that my idols put into theirs. For the first time, it doesn't sound like a generic copy of a classic rock song. I'm not the next Eminem, not the next Linkin Park, not the next Kurt Cobain. I'm Wim. And starting today, I'm writing my own story. That's what I thought. Yesterday, the song felt perfect. It still sounds like me, but suddenly compared to the professional tracks in my playlist, it feels thin, lifeless, like something crucial is missing. I kept comparing my song to my idols: Green Day, Blink-182, Linkin Park. And the difference is brutal. My song is like some cheap fast food next to a 5-star gourmet meal. All those months of work, the sleepless nights, the massive investment, and still it's nowhere near the level of the songs that play on the radio every day. Something is missing. Did I still not find the secret ingredient? My plan to produce my first song failed, and I have no clue what to do next.